Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good night. I don't know when you're listening, but I am... What am I saying? I am sure glad that you... Actually, Harry Chapin at the end of Cats in the Cradle, he has a line that's like... It's
silver spoon.
Yeah, but he says, it's been sure nice talking to you. And I always thought...
Sure nice
talking to you. And I always thought it's sure been nice. Sounded a lot more reasonable. Like if you were to just say it in conversation. Anyways... I just pulled some Harry Chapin bullcrap, rest in peace, 30,000 pounds of bananas, Scranton, Pennsylvania. Really put those guys on the map before The Office.
Who? What? Yeah. Yep.
One of Harry Chapin's other songs that he's most famous for was 30,000 pounds of bananas. That
I must have missed
Taxi.
That one. I'm pretty far up in my Harry Chapin's freaking...
Harry Chapin.
Yeah, music. But I think I missed that one. Sorry, bro.
Anyways, episode number 420 of Turtle Talk Weekly.
Well, this is going to be a quiet episode. Turtles don't talk much as far as I can...
It's because they're all dead because of those straws.
Oh, yeah. Plastic, man.
Read your thing.
Can't live with it. What am I reading?
I feel a lot better when it's Dan doing dumb jokes instead of Brian, because I would assume the audience likes him a little more and they'll put up with your stuff.
No, I'm seriously don't know what you're talking about. Read your something. Oh, our sponsor.
Our sponsor. Hurry up, man.
Yeah.
We're a minute in and we haven't said anything.
Okay, here goes, guys. eToro, they are our sponsor. They've been our sponsor for a while. We are super grateful to them. They've got 15 cryptos you can trade. Yes, they added one.
What'd they add? Do you know?
I didn't check which one specifically. I just counted and I realized it was up to 15 and we've been saying 14.
Oh.
So, you're welcome, guys. There's 15 cryptos to buy and sell. You can find them at meandbtc.com/trade. We'd love it if you would use that link so that they know you found them through us. That would mean the world to us. Super slick interface. It's social. That's pretty darn unique. You can see other people posting articles about the price, commenting about the price, commenting on comments. Follow other traders specifically, stuff like that. Super clean, super slick. And they've got the best part for sure is the $100,000 virtual portfolio. You can sign up for that in literally like 30 seconds. Your account can be ready to go with $100,000 of virtual money to practice with, buy crypto, sell crypto. It's great. Find them at meandbtc.com/trade. eToro, we thank them for sponsoring us.
All right. So I can't see the title because it's not been written yet, but we think it's going to be some more scams. I got frigged, and I'll just get right into it. Recently, I visited home, which is near the Buffalo, New York area, and the New England Patriots were coming to town. And they were the most expensive Buffalo Bills tickets in 15, 20 years. So I decided to do a little bit of value shopping. I ended up on Craigslist, and everybody, their head just exploded that I'm going to complain about a scam while buying through Craigslist because, like, of course. But even though I knew that a scam was a possibility, I thought I had myself covered because I paid for Bills tickets through Cash App via my credit card, and I did a whole bunch of reading and everything, and I was pretty darn sure that I was covered because I was using my credit card. And in retrospect, when this guy never sent the Bills tickets, I think I would have been covered, except I made the mistake of being honest with my credit card company, and I told them I did do the transaction.
That'll get you, man. Never be honest.
I did do the transaction, and the guy never sent the tickets. So this guy, he's going to sell me Bills tickets. Man, I always got to burp like 3 minutes in because I'm pounding this ginger ale, diet ginger ale. If you'd like me to be drinking your diet ginger ale, just send a case. Dan Brown's house, you know the address. So I'm buying these Buffalo Bills tickets, and they're $300 for 4, which is good because on StubHub they're going for about $100, and then you got to pay the fees. And it seems like a reasonable price to me because I'm just assuming that this guy doesn't want to pay the seller fees on StubHub, and after selling his $100 tickets, I'm going to pay $150 for him. He's probably going to get about $65 after StubHub's done.
Yeah, StubHub will bend you over.
Oh, for sure, for sure. You will see all 50 states when you're bent over that barrel when you're dealing with StubHub. But anyways, it seemed like a reasonable price, like a price I wasn't going to get scammed at, but I was still a little skeptical. So instead of just paying from my bank account, I entered my credit card and I paid an extra $9, a 3% fee, because I thought that would give me my credit card protection. And I was doing all this reading and stuff. And people are saying if you are ever doing transactions on PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, yada, 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 that it's really, really risky to be the seller because the buyer, after you send them the goods, can just charge it back on their credit card. And I'm like, oh, it's actually riskier for that guy. So, like, it's okay. And I'm not just sending it from my bank account. I'm doing it from my credit card. And from what I read online, I would have all the protections of my credit card. And, well, needless to say, and I don't know if I already did say it or not. He did not send the Bills tickets, and I called my credit card company and I was like, "Hey, Chase, let's get me this money back." And then they're like, "Oh, okay. So what happens?" I was like, "I sent this guy money, and he never sent me the Bills tickets." And then they apparently it went through. It was a money transfer for some reason, and they're not. Yeah, they're not going to give me the money back, but if I would have just gone in the app and highlighted that Cash App transfer like it wasn't me, they would have just given me the money back. If I would have just said that it was a fraudulent charge instead of a scam, if I would have just lied to them, I would have got my money back no problem, because then Cash App would have just withdrawn it from that other guy's account. And what's he going to do? Like, is he going to get a hold of Cash App or the police or say, hey, this guy stole money from me after I scammed him? Like, it would be like if someone stole drugs from you. Like, who are you going to tell? You have to settle with fisticuffs. That's the only solution.
Yeah, I've heard countless, especially in the Bitcoin world, people trying to buy and sell Bitcoin with PayPal too. Like, just countless stories like, never do it. They're going to keep the Bitcoin and charge back the PayPal. That I agree. I've heard that's
from all of the, and I feel like such an idiot for getting. It was my last ditch effort. I've been really busy since I got back to the Phoenix area, but I'm going to go into Chase, and I am in the market for a home. I'm getting married next.
I got
September.
A shoebox if you get.
Yeah, he's got extra bedrooms here, but he's never offered that. But a shoebox he'll do.
I don't know. It's a little more cozy.
So I am in the market for a home loan, and I'm going to go into Chase, and I'm going to tell him that, and I'm going to say, here's my salary, here's my fiance's salary, what do you think we could get to? And when this guy's eyes light up, hey, we're going to, get him a $300,000 mortgage, and then we're going to make $40,000 off of that. And then I'm going to say, oh, okay, bud, all you got to do is help me out with this $300 problem.
They're going to make way more. I don't know what you're going for. A 30-year mortgage almost doubles the price of a freaking house.
I would say 15. Now I've read different things about whether you should do a 15 or a 30-year mortgage. Now, the argument for a 30-year mortgage is obviously that it lowers your payment per month. And hopefully you're going to be making more money 25 years from now than you are making now. And it's going to put less of a strain on your budget. Also, with inflation, it'll be like, if your payment's $500 a month, that $500 is going to be much easier to come by 20 years from now, because there's going to be so much more money in circulation. The common sense thing would be is just like you want the total amount to be as low as possible, so do a 15.
Yeah, I mean, either way, even if you get a 30, you can pay it off in 15. But the first years of payments on that are going to be almost exclusively interest and not really going toward the principal. So paying off a 30-year mortgage in 15 years will require you to pay more per month than a 15-year mortgage. More per month for sure. Yeah.
So more total than if you got a 15-year mortgage and paid it off in 15 years.
Whoa! So you're saying a 30-year mortgage paid off in 15 costs more than a 15-year mortgage paid off in 15?
Yeah, because the longer term of the I feel like I'm talking to you right now. I'm like, not to the microphone. because for a 15-year mortgage, your earlier payments are going to consist of more principal and less interest.
It doesn't matter what portion of your payment goes where. All that matters is the interest rate. So yeah, interest rate, either way, you have the loan for 15 years.
Well, okay, but the interest rate is calculated into each payment when you have like a payment schedule, right? And so let's just say that you're going to be paying $500 a month for 30 years. That first payment, $450 of it is going to go towards your interest. They make you pay off the interest sooner.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. I mean,
well, yeah, because boy, I'm going to have a lot of. Let's just say $100,000 loan.
All right, nice round number. I'm ready.
Okay, dude. Man, I gotta. But so you're telling me that a loan at 10%. Let's just use that as a round number, is going to be the same whether it's over 15 or whether it's over 30 years? The interest on it?
If you paid it off in 15 years, either way, it's a 10% loan paid off in 15 years. If you did that, if you paid it off in 15 years. Because the amount of interest... Well, because your payment, it would literally be identical. Because you would increase your payment, the interest would be the same. Although that's another factor because the interest rates.
but there's all sorts of different like how they do the interest rates and stuff. So I guess then the advantage of doing a 15-year loan is that they generally give you lower interest rates.
Well, that's where it gets weird because I think longer gives you lower interest rates. So it's almost like everyone should go for 30 and just pay it off in 15. The only reason I wouldn't do that is because I don't want to even consider. Like, I don't want to, in 5 years, 10 years, I don't want to be tempted to be like, oh, I don't need to be paying it off this quick. I'll just lower my payment. I don't want to be paying off my house for 30 years. I don't want to be paying off my house for 15 years. So yes, it probably is actually advantageous if the rate is lower at 30 years. Just get the 30 years and pay it off in 10 years, 15 years.
Sounds good to me. I don't know what Dave Ramsey's talking about. I'm not an expert on that particular subject. That was just how I thought it worked, but this is why this is called Unpopular Opinions. And for all I know, you could be just as wrong as I think I am.
Agreed. I could be just as wrong as you thought I was yesterday.
How did we start talking about home? Oh, okay.
Chase.
I'm gonna go into Chase. I'm gonna go into Chase, and I'm gonna tell him that like I'm looking for a loan, dude. Which I am. But once I get this guy ready to rock and roll, you know what I'm saying? I am going to have printed off the text where I got scammed, and maybe I can print off my like Ticketmaster account that he said he was going to send the tickets to, and then obviously never did. And have him, he's either got to look into it for me or just have the bank credit me the account, because I promise you that $309 is nothing to Chase.
Yeah.
And listen, there's Wells Fargo right down the street that's offering $250 to create a new checking account that I've been thinking about anyways, because what's Chase ever really done for me? And why would I not just take $250 free dollars? So if he won't help me out with that, then I'm just going to tell him I want to close my account at Chase. And if he's willing to lose out on all the interest from a mortgage I'm inevitably going to take out over that $309, that's fine with me, because I'm just going to go to Wells Fargo and get $250 out of my $309 back. That's my plan.
So, couple things. First of all, as much as I agree, this guy's going to... They're salesmen. They're going to love you. They're going to be all about you. They're going to want you. I did it. He gave me his phrase. I did it with multiple people to play them against each other. Mm-hmm. They gave me their cell phone numbers. I could call them in the middle of their dinner at night or whatever. They're going to love you for sure. I'm not sure he's going to have much pull with a completely different credit card department. Like, as much as he loves you, I don't know if he's going to be able to pull any strings.
But what I'm saying is that the winningest option for me would to have been not gotten scammed at all, which I'm still pretty freaking salty about, dude, because I one of the things is Cash App used to be Square.
Yeah.
And so I went on to Cash App's like FAQs and stuff like that, and it directed me to Square. And so I was reading these things as if it would apply to me, and it looked like it would be, I would get my money back in a jiffy if anything went wrong. Cash App, which is now a money, like peer-to-peer transfer, left up all of their FAQs from when they were merchant processing. Which is a totally different ballgame, which would have been processed as credit instead of a money transfer. And I work in e-commerce day to day, and we lose $1,000 a month from people just charging stuff back on their credit card. And what are we going to? We're going to hire a lawyer to fight $40 at a time?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make any, like merchants are like powerless in that scenario. It looked like I was in the clear because I was reading this FAQ from Square that they advertised, like
yeah.
I got to from their Cash App website.
You should just tweet at Jack, see if he can get it all sorted out.
Like Captain Jack Sparrow?
No, at Jack. The CEO of Twitter and Square and Cash App, or founder or something like that.
Yeah, him and I, we've had our differences when we were hanging out, so I don't know if he's really going to help me.
So here's another thing.
You don't think that if this guy goes to his boss and says, "Listen, we're about to lose out on an entire home loan over $309.
Oh, yeah. The best he's going to do, I was going to get to that too. He's not going to be able to reverse a credit card charge. He might be able to just toss in a credit into your like closing costs or something. That he'll do for sure.
Oh, I'm not interested in the closing costs. I'm interested in my bank account. And like I said, even if it's, we have maybe a 5 to 10% chance of that working. My absolute worst case scenario is I'm going to tell him if he can't do that, then I'm going to close my account. And I will, and I'll just go to Wells Fargo up the street.
So that was another thing. I don't need to get into all these details because there's a million details and I'm not an expert. But I've been intrigued lately by this Reddit called r/churning, and it's all about getting credit card bonuses and bank account bonuses, exactly like you're talking about. And so there, you could maybe even do better than $250. I'm working on a $300 one at the moment.
Here's the thing, though, dude, is one of the most important things of credit, and I know that credit is like a huge scam in a practical world. Like the only real financial advice I get is from listening to Dave Ramsey's show or his podcast or whatever. And he hates credit, but he also thinks that it's realistic to expect a millennial to be able to scrimp for 4 years and then be able to pay cash for a house.
Yeah.
Like, so unfortunately, credit is something that you need. And if you end up with a bunch of like short-term accounts that are opening and closing and stuff, that's going to hurt your credit account, which could hurt your interest rates in the future. If you don't ever foresee yourself needing to take out another loan, maybe you're about to buy another house and you'll just sell this one to pay for the new one, then that's fine. Or you're just going to pay cash for your next car. That's fine. I am not at a point where I'm going to be able to just pay cash for a house. Like I am going to have to take out a loan.
Yeah, for sure. That comes up a lot on the Reddit. Like people are like, I'm thinking of buying a house next year, and everyone's like, cool it off on the credit card applications. Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely a factor for sure. Which credit card did you use?
Chase Freedom Unlimited.
Sometimes they have like, I probably wouldn't work for Craigslister. They do have like purchase protection. Like if you, like, I don't know, maybe if some idiot like cracked their TV driving home from Walmart with a brand new TV, they might be able to cover that with just credit card purchase protection or whatever. I'm just saying.
Has that ever happened?
Not to that extent. I was able to, this
person was able to. No, I was with that person when it happened, and I don't mind talking about it because it wasn't my freaking credit card, and I didn't lie to the employer, but
I didn't either, actually.
No, we actually had my fiance go in and explain the situation, or just say that the TV wouldn't work.
Good time.
So me and this other person, we just had a sedan to try to get home this like 65-inch TV from Walmart, and it was a floor model that was a good deal. And so we were literally like driving through what's like a decently major highway. I mean, not highway.
We weren't driving
but like,
down the highway, not like a freeway.
No. But it was right across a road that was.
It's like 2 lanes, 45 speed limit, something like that. That's a decent highway.
Yeah. But like 2 lanes going each way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and divided traffic and everything. So I'm holding both doors in the back seat closed because the TV wouldn't fit in the back seats, and we end up getting it home and turning it on, and about 12% of the screen worked.
Oh yeah. I thought you were going to say 12% was cracked, and I was going to say it was way more than that.
Yeah. So
we also had a buddy. I mean, this person also had a buddy. A buddy that was like had an SUV that was like on his way to Walmart, but something about phone tag. He didn't like. We called him and said, "Come to Walmart," and he started coming, but didn't tell us he was coming.
Yeah. Because he can be kind of a grumpy guy once in a while. So like he told me he didn't feel like coming, so I just assumed that he wasn't. And then like he must have passed us while I and this other gentleman were driving to his house. And so then he gets there and texts me, and he's all fired up, and I'm looking at this broken TV. And the best thing that we came up with was the person who is now my fiance. We got her to go to customer service at Walmart and explain the situation, because we figured a female would have much greater luck.
I still think we figured correctly.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But all that to say,
if
my backup was credit card purchase protection, which I think legitimately would have covered it.
Yeah. I think I would have probably been covered as well if it didn't go through as a money transfer. But the whole reason that I paid the extra fees and stuff like that and entered my credit card was I thought it was going to go through as a credit card transaction. And that's what this Square FAQ was leading me to believe. Of course, that was from the when you're dealing with a merchant, and this was peer-to-peer, I guess.
Shoot.
So, worst case scenario, Wells Fargo, here I come.
Well, you could. I was going to say though, you might be able to find a bigger bonus. Like I'm working on a 300. If you don't mind, just an online bank. Say it's hardly any requirements, like $500 direct deposit. Anyway.
But yeah, this was a bad time to happen to me, because I ended up still paying the StubHub prices to go to the game, because I'm in New York, maybe the one football game per year in the Buffalo area, and they were undefeated, and the Patriots were undefeated and coming to town. And
I don't know what I'd rather do less: watch a Bills Patriots game or get scammed out of $300.
I'm actually not that big of a fan of going to NFL games. Unless it's a really, really, really good game, there's a lot of standing around.
I want to say I don't even know. I might have only been to a preseason game ever. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I agree. There's nothing crazy.
Went to a preseason game in Green Bay this year. That was cool. The Lambeau Field is in a very, very small neighborhood. If anybody here is slightly interested in football and lives within, I probably wouldn't like fly there and have to rent a car and everything, because the closest you might be able to get is like Milwaukee, maybe Green Bay, but based on how small that city is, it's going to be ridiculously expensive. But it's maybe like 50 to 100,000 people, and every single one of them there are just absolutely bananas for the Packers. It's kind of cool. But this huge, ginormous, historic Lambeau Field just springs up like in the middle of a very, very residential neighborhood.
What is it? Glendale? What's that stadium over there? Well, there's a couple of them.
The Arizona Cardinals?
That and the talking stick.
Yeah?
Yeah. Those are kind like, they're not downtown.
No, they're definitely not downtown, but they're not... This is a very much just like a white picket fence area, and besides the field, there is pretty much nothing except for houses with grass and garages, and I guess grass and garage are typical things to come with a house, but it seems like it should be out of place, but it's almost like part of the foundation of the earth. It's really, really weird. I'm even saying I don't like going to football games that much. I'm telling people to check out Green Bay for a preseason game just because the aesthetics around the stadium are that cool. Like, it's obviously impressive.
Part of the foundation of the earth. That's pretty impressive, dude.
Yeah!
It's like the friggin' Dwarven Mines of Moria or something, you know?
Is that from Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never read the books, never seen the movies.
Dang.
What are they? They got like episode 45 coming out of Star Wars at the end of this year.
I have only seen one Star Wars in my life. Didn't follow any of it.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of them. When they started with the reboot, I tried to go back and watch the first 6 so that I could follow along with 7 when I went with my buddy who was a big Star Wars fan, the same idiot who wouldn't pick us up at Walmart in his car and was on the podcast before. So I'll let you guys figure it out. It was a previous co-host.
I don't know. That doesn't narrow it down much. You got all kinds of guests on this show.
Including you, I think there's 4. And if you count my solo episodes, I think there's 5 different iterations of hosts.
Do you ever have any 3-ways?
Not on the air. Oh, geez, look at that spike, man. Is that going to be okay?
No, you're good. That as long as it doesn't crack the top, you're golden.
All right.
They tried a 3-way in here last night, but we only had 2 mics, so they had to share the stick.
Who are the 3?
Zach, Joe, and Bradley.
Really?
Check it out, guys. Is it worth it? I don't know.
Listening to it, is it worth it? Absolutely not. I'm just kidding. I'm sure they do a much better job than me, but that's a really low standard.
I wasn't scammed, but I did get screwed out of $212 just like a week ago. Ran into weather in Atlanta. Yeah, man, trying to land this stupid plane.
You were flying it?
In it, yeah. I was flying in it.
Okay.
And I guess there were just storms. I honestly forgot that rain is something that people have to deal with on like a regular basis.
Yeah.
Because there was another day on vacation. We went to this town. We were just going to walk around this whatever, do some shopping, get some food. And it just poured and poured. And it was Savannah, Georgia. And it just gushed for hours. So we drove around instead of walked around.
Yeah.
I
wonder if it would have been like the same band of, because we were gone over the same week, and I was in Western New York, and it was pretty miserable there for a few days. But I love the rain. I love bad weather. I would like to live in Seattle. I hate having to go outside or feeling guilty that I'm not.
Most people think I'm crazy, but yeah, I'll take dreary days.
Yeah, dreary. That's a good word. That's my favorite day. A darn dreary day. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. But so those were 2 different days. The first storm, we couldn't land. Our layover was in Atlanta. They diverted us to Memphis, and we refueled. Then we went back to Atlanta, and we had at that point missed our connection. Had to get a hotel. They won't cover it because it was weather, which as much as it sucks, like if Delta had to cover every single storm ever,
yeah,
they'd be screwed.
Here's what I feel though, is that they should be much more prominent in advertising flights. You're paying pretty much for a chance to get somewhere at the specified time, because in their fine print, they basically say screw you over any circumstances.
Pretty much.
And I just feel like it happens such a large percent of the time that it's almost like false advertising to say, hey, we're going to get you to this place at this time, because there are so many scenarios that can come up where they're just not going to do it and they don't care. And they know that you have no leverage because you can flap your wings so hard. You can't fly yourself.
Not most people anyway. Yeah, they bend you over too. I think one of the biggest things is that an airline is such a huge operation. It's so hard for there to be that much competition. Like,
oh yeah, like the barrier of entry to creating a airline.
Yeah,
I don't know if we'll ever see another airline.
Yeah, I mean, at one airport you might have 6 or 8 airlines. I mean, I guess I bet a big one, maybe you could count 10, but half of those no one uses anyway.
Yeah.
So you're looking at like 4 or 5 reasonable options on a good route, which, yeah, that's still competition. They do still have to compete, and it works out now and then for the consumer, but a lot of times it does not work out. If you're looking for a certain route at a certain time,
yeah,
you don't want to lay over, all of a sudden you've got one choice. And
I've always wondered how some, especially smaller airlines, charge so much. Like a good example for me is I'll fly out of Erie, Pennsylvania, maybe once out of every 10 times once out of every 5 that I visit Western New York, because it's the closest airport to my house. It's also usually the most expensive by far. But within 90 minutes of Erie, you have Pittsburgh, you have Buffalo, and you have Cleveland, even Akron. And are people really willing to pay like an extra $150 to fly out of Erie so they can go to Chicago or Philadelphia and sit there for a few hours instead of just going right to Cleveland or right to Buffalo and flying to Phoenix or wherever they're going? I do know that the people who are on airplanes are made up, like such a big percentage of them compared to the general public are businessmen, that money is less of a thing for them than the general public. But still, like, I look at some of those prices to fly out of like smaller airports or on smaller airlines, and I just what the heck just happened?
It's got a floppy mic over there.
My mic just did like a full 180. I was going to say 360, but then that wouldn't make any sense. What am I turning here? This one? Yeah, I really don't know how those smaller airlines do it.
I think you're right. It's business people, or it's older people who they've got retirement funds and they don't really want to drive 90 minutes. They don't want to scour. They don't even know how to use the internet barely.
Right. So maybe they like show up at the airport and buy a ticket there, or call on the phone.
Not literally at the airport, maybe, but yeah. But they just don't look. They just go, oh, delta.com, there's the flight, and look. Yeah. Like, they don't know all the tricks or the. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure you can go up to the counter and buy a flight, like to leave somewhere in case of emergency. But I wonder when that stopped being a thing.
I mean,
because like a bunch of travel, like planes, trains, and automobiles and stuff like that in the 80s and 90s, or Home Alone, or pretty much any movie before the year 2000 where they had to fly, they would just like walk up to the counter at the airport and be like, one ticket on this plane, please.
Yeah, or like your girlfriend dumped you, she's about to take off, but you sprint up behind her and get a ticket as well.
That's like on one of the last episodes of Friends or something. Ross does that, and he buys a ticket for Phoebe too, and they're at the wrong airport. And
I would say about 10 years ago, 8 years ago, that was probably just totally obsolete. Not totally, because you're right, it still might happen now and then.
Yeah.
But
that situation with like Ross going to the wrong airport, most of 90s sitcoms humor is based around not having a cell phone. Like Seinfeld, Friends, all of those episodes like especially like Seinfeld, the Chinese restaurant, or those famous episodes, like it would have introduced them, they would have texted each other, and then the whole conflict would have been resolved. Like roll credits. It's a 20-second episode.
I've never seen Seinfeld, and I'm trying to process that observation, but it sounds correct.
Well, you've seen Friends.
Yeah.
That airport episode I was talking, or you were just talking.
I don't even remember what. So, wrong airport, you said? I didn't even remember
like
that.
Ross and Phoebe were trying to track Rachel. I really don't like Friends that much. I think it is, I don't know. It's like turn your brain off humor, which is not really what I'm looking for in humor. I think Seinfeld is a bit more of a thinking comedy and stuff, and like there are layers to the jokes and stuff, whereas Friends is kind of just like, oh, Ross is whiny and the girls are hot, but Phoebe's clever even though she was an orphan, and Joey's an idiot, which I love the Rambo movies, just like senseless violence and manslaughter and stuff like that. I will take that out of my action movies. For comedies, I really, really appreciate it when there are like layers to the comedy, and I feel like it's well written. And obviously, Friends is well written for the genre that it is. It's just not a type of comedy that I necessarily enjoy. And I can understand how a lot of people enjoy it, because I love all 5 of the Rambo movies, and you kind of shut off your brain and like, yeah, he's getting those people from other countries. He's killing them. Get him. You know what I mean? Whereas is Friends, it's kind of the same thing. Like, oh, Joey's a goof. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like with Seinfeld, there are a few more like layers to the jokes.
I wish I could agree. Maybe I can. I just never seen Seinfeld. I know I've told you some of this before, maybe even on the show. I have so much trouble remembering, well, a lot of things, but sitcoms, like if anyone brings it, like I've seen Scrubs 3 times now. But if one of my friends who also loves Scrubs is like, oh, that one episode with JD's one girlfriend, I'm like, I have no idea. I could not name a single one of JD's girlfriends. Yeah. Besides the main, Elliot. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we talked about this before, but
I don't know if it was with me. I mean, I know Elliot mostly for Sarah Chalk, I think.
Yeah.
For being the person who came in on Roseanne to play the daughter after the original cast member left, which I always think is kind of weird.
They switched the actress?
Yeah, when you switch the actress or actor.
Dumbledore?
Did that happen?
Yeah, yeah.
And he's Harry Potter, right?
He's in Harry Potter. He's not Harry Potter.
No. I meant, yeah. I also know he wasn't the Ring, but if he was in Lord of the Rings, I would have said he's Lord of the Rings. So they switched the actor that played Dumbledore?
Yeah, he died.
After what movie? Do you know?
Like 3 or 4, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Man, the sports I played in college, those guys were crazy about Harry Potter. So we probably watched all 7 of those over the course of my time on the volleyball team. And then, man, I remember our captain we watched like entire seasons of Boy Meets World as we were driving because we would go from Buffalo to Florida for spring training.
So, what, did you have like DVDs in a bus?
Yeah, it was a DVD player.
What, was it one that like built into the bus? One of those buses with TVs?
Yeah,
nice. All right. We had a couple, I remember, probably I was like 6 or 7 driving to the beach from Pennsylvania. My aunt had a Suburban or something, and they would somehow, I didn't even know, they would somehow set up a cathode ray TV on one of the seats, connected to a VCR, and somehow it was all plugged into the car.
Wow. I mean, I used to have my
Cool Runnings. That was the first time I saw Cool Runnings.
So we growing up, me and my brother and sister would pile into the van, and there were, my mom or dad would be driving, but they'd be up front. And so we didn't have, they weren't like built into the car, but you just like strap them onto the headrests and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember we had one for a few years where there was like a DVD player on the floor and then the cord would come up, or some of them, there would actually be like DVD players in the screen. And one of them you could either connect them with a red, white, yellow. What are those? AFV?
Yeah, AV. Yeah.
What is it? AFV? America's Funniest Home Videos. And then with an AV cord.
Wait, so you could watch the same movie on multiple screens?
Yes, or you could disconnect the AV cord and they would each play a separate movie. But I figured out that since it has AV ports, I could bring my PlayStation in the car.
Yeah.
And so I just bought one of those like things,
converter or something.
That would plug into the cigarette lighter or whatever was in old vans, and then you could just plug it right in there as an outlet. And me in college and stuff, me and a few buddies, one of which left Dan and a friend and I stranded at Walmart with a television. We would be, drive around Northeast United States going to watch the national soccer team. And so after the kids kind of outgrew sitting in the backseat watching Veggie Tales, I took the DVD player from my mom's van and I put it in my car, and the guys in the backseat on our road trips would be playing FIFA and stuff back there.
That sounds like a freaking blast.
Yeah.
I mean, good old days. There's something to be said for offline gaming where, it's your game, no updates, no bull crap, play it anytime, anywhere, no DLC, no license crap. Yeah.
Yeah. My friend from Minnesota, we have date night every Wednesday where we get on and we usually play NBA together, and I logged onto my Xbox for the first time in 2 weeks last night because I've been venue shopping in New York for my wedding. Man, that was a thing.
Congrats, dude.
For
nice. What? You're getting married?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I was bamboozled. I was going to say earlier, this $309 went at a bad time because it was the day before it hit me really how expensive weddings were. I had an agreement with my fiance. I wanted to miss work on Friday and fly out that morning because tickets were like $75 cheaper a person. Plus we'd get pretty much a whole extra day. Plus we wouldn't have to fly on a red eye.
Excused.
But she didn't want to miss work because she was missing the whole next week, and she just started a new job. So as a compromise, we flew out Friday night, which turned into getting in on the East Coast at like 10 a.m., so on no sleep. But in return, I would get to go to that Bills game on Sunday, and she would do the venue shopping without me. And that's a good
compromise. You spend more for the flights, and you go to the game.
Yeah. So I'm spending more all over the place. Plus, I didn't get to sleep Friday night. Plus, I had to work that day. So I didn't go to the venue with her that day. But Monday is when I started accompanying her. We're getting married in Western New York. Monday is when I started accompanying her to venues, and it's expensive. And I immediately was like, oh, it would be a lot nicer to have $309 right now.
Yeah.
A lot of these places that don't even supply you with food or drink will charge you like $4,000, and then you have to organize all that stuff yourself. Or if they do supply you with food and drink, you have to pay a venue fee anyways of $4,000, and then $75 before tip and tax per person that comes. We're gonna have a really small wedding.
Gets hefty.
Yeah. So I'm trying to save for that. And yesterday, for my job, I had to drive maybe 30 or 45 minutes toward the city to go to a college career fair to try to recruit for our company. And I was coming back at like 6:30, and I was so hungry. And I was like, dude, I'm not spending the $8 or whatever at Whataburger. I have to save for this wedding. And just the thought that like that's what I'm going to be doing the next 11 months is like I can't get a cheeseburger Because I have to pay for this wedding.
Yeah,
They're
I don't
expensive.
know. I mean, yeah, I normally regret spending money on food anyway. Not like I wish I hadn't, but I'm on a pretty constant state of no. It depends.
I do not think that I'm getting like better value for my money in terms of food when I eat out. Like, I don't think, oh, the meal that I could have made for myself for $2 is not nearly as tasty as this thing I'm buying for 10. The quality, where that $8 difference is worth it to me is not having to do any dishes, not having to make it. I hate anything besides grilling. I hate if I can't do it in the microwave or on a grill, I pretty much won't do it.
Yeah.
I used to do it with pasta, but the problem is I would eat a whole 1 pound box of pasta plus sauce, which is like 2,000 calorie meal, and I don't fit into any of my clothes anymore.
I think I just realized what the key is for me. It's whether I'm with people. If I'm with people, yeah, for sure. Let's go out, have a good time, get some food, whatever. If I'm by myself and I'm like, oh, I could hit up Chick-fil-A, like, yeah, I love Chick-fil-A to death, and I probably would. But that's the type of situation where it's like, okay, I really didn't need to spend that money. That's probably the key for me.
I would say I would be more likely to do that because I value being alone so much that I would... Like, my time alone, it sounds bad. I appreciate being alone more than I do with people.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm
one
of the reasons I don't mind grilling for people is if I'm, like, with a group of people, I can kind of get away from having to conversate for a little bit and just, like, focus on my meat. You know what I mean? Yeah. But, like, if I'm by myself, I don't want to waste time standing over a stove when I could be enjoying.
Yeah, Ryan loves to be alone with his meat. That is true.
Yeah, especially when there are people watching.
They'll get to eat it too. It's a good time.
Yeah. We me and my girlfriend, well, now fiance, but she was my girlfriend at the time. One of the times we were on the East Coast, we end up having to come through Las Vegas on our way back to Phoenix. And so we were originally just going to take a trip to Las Vegas. So we were going to be there. And while we were going to be in Las Vegas, there's a few things popped up back home. One of which was an alumni soccer game, which also happened to be this past week. I went and played in. And there were like 30 guys there, and I was probably the 28th or 29th best player of those people, like when we were in high school. Freaking MVP, dude. 1-0 shutout. I probably had like 12 saves. Like, I'm like 60 pounds heavier than I was in high school, like out of breath watching everyone else run around. And I was terrible in high school. I was so bad at soccer. I never got to play in the field, and I did get to play goalie some, but I was just a backup. Like, I was a backup varsity goalie for 2 years, and I just sit there and because I didn't want to be embarrassed about not getting in the game, I wouldn't even wear my regular jersey. I'd wear the goalie jersey so that, because I thought it looked better that I was a second string goalie instead of like the 8th string midfielder. But all of these guys who actually like were good in high school and cared about it were at this soccer game, and I somehow, I guess, just got really lucky, or I've just been playing it recreation because I do enjoy it. Even though I'm not good, I do enjoy it. And we've played together a fair bit in leagues and stuff like that. But yeah, our team won 1-0, and I probably had like 10 or 12 saves. And then they posted on the Facebook page that Ryan Tofil, class of 2010, was the man of the match. Anyways, so while we're in Vegas, I see that that's going on at home. A concert I'd really like to go to was going on, and my dad's birthday was that same time. So we're like, okay, we're going to be in Vegas. And Vegas from Pittsburgh to Pittsburgh is way cheaper than Phoenix to anything in that Buffalo.
Yeah. Vegas is cheap flights.
The tri-area of Buffalo, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh. Those are the airports I'm usually looking at because I live smack dab in the middle of all of them. Someone's out there like triangulating my house right now, sending a nuke to my mom. So since I thought that we were going to take a car to Vegas, I booked the flights back into Vegas. Makes sense, right? Well, I end up looking at how expensive parking is and everything. And then these mega bus tickets are literally 99 cents going from Phoenix to Vegas. So we book this mega bus. We go to Vegas. We do our days there. We fly home. We spend some time in Buffalo. We take a road trip to New York City. We see the concert. We drive 6 hours back to Buffalo. We get a ride in the rental car back to Pittsburgh and then fly back into Vegas. And as we land, I'm like, okay, dude, like I'm an adult now. I have a little bit of expendable income. I wasn't engaged and worrying about a wedding at that time. We had planned on sleeping in the airport. We got there and realized how miserable that was going to be because our bus didn't leave until the next morning. So I booked what seemed like a pretty decent hotel room on, I think it was
this
Priceline.
The one with the coffee thing?
That was one. Yeah. Okay. Wait. So I think I told this on this before, but while we were in Vegas originally, before we flew to New York, and you better have your graph paper out, like tracking this trip because it's getting needlessly convoluted. We stayed in a hotel room, and I can't remember the name of it because I wish I could trash them. Some place charged me like $60 that I stayed at in Vegas because they said that I stole a coffee pot.
Yeah, that was on our last scam.
I never drink coffee, and when I do, it doesn't taste like coffee, and that's maybe a few times. I've actually been drinking it more recently because I'm trying not to drink as much pop, but I probably went sans coffee for like 3 years. And this was during that time. And they charged me like $60 on the credit card they had on file because I said that I stole a coffee pot. And I ended up having to call and argue with them and stuff over this. I think I may have covered this on my the post office scam me episode where I talked about other scams, or maybe it was a different episode. Maybe you go ahead, search through the archives on youmeandbtc.com. You'll love it. So anyways, we get into Las Vegas and I book a hotel on Priceline. I pay an Uber to take us to the outskirts of Vegas, which wasn't that cheap. We get there and the hotel's like, nope, we're full. Like, well, I got my reservation right here. It's like, that's with Priceline, not with us. And I'm like, you're telling me it's the wrong hotel? And they're like, no, this is the hotel. You're telling me I don't have a reservation? And they're like, yeah, you have a reservation. They're telling me that Priceline, I don't know if just in their system can't keep up. Maybe people walked into that hotel and bought a room or something. But Priceline sold me an itinerary that didn't exist.
Nice.
And so then we had to take an Uber to a different hotel that we thought we found a good deal on, and it was this really, really crappy, side of the road motel where it's no pool, no nothing, just a couple of twin beds, probably with bed bugs in them, but it's got to be 1 a.m. We have to be up at maybe 7 or something to hit this bus. So we show up there, and it turns out that while I was on the phone arguing with Priceline, my girlfriend thought she found a good deal somewhere else. She had booked the hotel for the wrong night.
Ooh.
So she thankfully was able to call back and get that charge reversed really quick, but we did have to pay 3 times as much because I was just there. And I'm like, dude, whatever. We thought we were getting it for $40 or $50, and this hotel wasn't worth more than $40 or $50. It was in rough shape. But they knew they had me right there, and they charged me $120 for that night. But I barely even slept because I was on the phone arguing with Priceline for so long, and they were okay about refunding me the money that I had spent on the hotel room. I don't know what it was, maybe $80 for something that's 3 stars or something decent. Meanwhile, this thing we ended up staying at is 1 star, and it's $120. And I was just furious because I had to pay for an Uber 2 ways from the airport to this hotel that was, it seemed to me like it was cheap because it was so far outside of the Strip. And then all the way back to the Strip so we could stay at this terrible place. Plus, the difference, because if I would have been able to book a room 3 hours ago, I probably would have been able to get a little better deal and stuff. So they ended up giving me the cost of the room plus half of the cost of the Uber, which was better than I could have hoped for. But me working on a store for my day job, I can never imagine treating a customer anybody comes to us with anything, we're pretty much just you're right, yeah, because we know that we are going to get more business from them in the future if we help them out. If you like, obviously there's a limit. If somebody's obviously like fishing, like, you know, they found a thumb in their chili at Wendy's and you know you didn't put it there, like there's probably they aren't planning on coming back and like spending a bunch of money with you anyways. They're just trying to scam you. But I mean, my philosophy is, dude, is if we help somebody out who's like genuinely been put into a pickle, they're going to spend more money with us and they're going to tell people. Word of mouth is the best form of advertising.
Oh, yeah.
Because people know that television and radio and print and internet ads are like meant to be deceptive. They're public relations where they're only going to tell you the best part of it. They're going to sell you an airline ticket and not tell you that it's going to get canceled and you're going to be stuck in the airport. But word of mouth, you know that like what you see is what you get, because why would you tell me that some airline screwed you over if it didn't? Like, you know that I fly
we
places.
Could. That'd make for a good show.
Yeah.
Just make up stories about airlines that screwed us over.
Priceline booked me a hotel room that didn't exist and then didn't reimburse me for all of the money that their mistake cost me.
So Frig Priceline.
William Shatner, mother effer. He was probably the guy that was in there, like he was making the reservations.
Oh, is he their spokesman?
Yeah, he's their spokesperson. I think Travelocity has the gnome.
Yeah.
In the, well, it's not Mr. Wonderful. It's Captain Obvious is Travelocity, I think. It's him and a gnome, I believe. Let's stretch it out to an hour. Dan, we got about 4 minutes here.
Ooh, 4 minutes. You know what I could do in 4 minutes? I have no idea. We could just talk about our favorite advertising mascots, like the gecko or
you know what?
Flo. I hate Flo so much. Oh, I hate her.
She went to SUNY Binghamton, which is an upstate New York college.
I can't stand. I just don't get it.
I don't get it either.
Or, frick, there's another one.
Here's the thing that I might actually, you think of that. I don't know if I've talked about this on the show or not. I was in a really, really bad car accident in September of 2013. And
that explains a lot.
Yeah. I was going really, really fast, and it was a really, really bad accident. I walked away. I had maybe a concussion and some cuts on my face, but the seats in the back were, the headrests in the back seats were up through the back windshield, and the passenger door was touching the cup holders. It was a high-speed one-car situation. And my phone was destroyed in it. So I got a new phone through my insurance, and with that new phone, I used it to take picture of my wrecked car after it was in the junkyard or whatever. Something that really, really, really changed my life, and it's really important to me, those photos. The phone that they sent me couldn't access Wi-Fi. It was just broken in the phone. The Wi-Fi would not work. So I had to send that phone in to get a second replacement. Not really knowing what I was doing, and cloud storage wasn't huge or super trusted at the time, the best thing I could think of was to email the photos to myself, because I knew I wanted to hang on to them.
That should do it.
Well, now I've been going back into some of my old email accounts, and there are two, and I know it's in one email account, but that email account has been deactivated because it was a student email account, and I didn't graduate from that school that I was going to. I just sent it to my primary email address, which was my school email address at the time, and I left at the end of that semester, and they deactivated my account.
Dang.
It may be in the school that I transferred to email files, but they, for some reason, I can only access stuff that I received 2015 or later. And this would have been September or October. So I don't know if anybody has any ideas on how they've ever gotten anything.
Are you saying this is all Flo's fault?
I'm not saying it's all Flo's fault. I'm saying I don't know how I started talking on this. This was something that I was going through today, and so I have like a help request open with SUNY Fredonia, which was the college that I was going to when this accident happened, the email account that I sent the photos to, and I thought it would be safe. I guess I just never clicked at the time. I was concussed. That they were going to deactivate that email account, and I immediately had to send that phone in, and they probably just instantly wiped it.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything backed up. So if anybody's ever had problems, I think the second account that there's an outside shot those things may be on, go ahead and tweet Dan at me and BTC on Twitter, right?
Yeah. We'll get you in touch with Ryan, and
I can't imagine that there's any way I'm going to get those photos. The one thing that I'm thinking is I have like a ticket open. I don't think that they're going to either. I don't think they're going to open a 5-year-old email account for me. There's got to be some sort of policy, no matter how much I beg and say, like, this is a car accident I should have died in that has impacted my life.
This is a guess. If they still have it, and if you can prove your identity, sure. I mean, it'll take a tech. I can't imagine their security is that.
Do you think that when students transfer out, they probably just delete?
I think that's more like
they delete their
or they
account.
give it a year and then delete it. Yeah, that's more likely.
Because I was on Verizon's chat today, and they said that any messages are deleted after 90 days.
You could just ask the NSA, maybe.
That's what I was asking. I was like, so if the government came to you and like, hey, we have a confirmed terrorist sending messages on your network a year ago, would you be able to do it for him? And I don't know if he was lying or not. He told me that he would have to tell the president no, that there's nothing he could do. They're just gone forever. And I was like, I don't know if I believe that or not. But then again, I guess like no matter how much storage you had, it would just get to be too much if you held on to everyone's messages forever.
Yeah, I don't think that. Yeah, they have no. Once it's on your phone, once it's delivered, 90 days seems like plenty. They don't need it.
That's good though, because I've sent a lot of regrettable messages years ago, and I hope, assuming those people didn't save them, it's good to know that they're gone.
Yeah. I mean, it's still wise to operate on the assumption that the internet is forever, but realistically...
But whenever it's going to benefit you, it's not forever.
Exactly.
When it's going to benefit Zuckerberg, then you better believe that they have those.
It's pretty much just expect the worst and hope for the best.
My last-ditch effort is going to be going to the insurance company, and I would imagine that they had to have had somebody come out and evaluate the accident, because they're not just going to pay out on a car that they don't have.
What company?
I don't remember at the time, because I was on my dad's insurance, and my brother got in a much, much, much less severe, but still an accident 2 weeks later. And then my dad was driving down the road, and a deer, this happens all the time, like in
bad things come in threes.
Midwest, eastern part of, a deer just ran out from the trees and hit him in the side door, and the insurance company dropped him because this deer was the final straw. They're like, dude, that's 3 vehicles in 3 weeks. You're done. I don't care if that was 110% not your fault. Like, Jeff Gordon couldn't have avoided it. Like, the deer ran into the side of him. And so I don't remember exactly what insurance company it was. I do know that he went through an agent, so somebody that handles your account specifically, and they get you the best possible. They like constantly shop your policy around and then charge you a little surcharge in return for getting you a better rate than if you were just like, hey, Google or Geico, give me some insurance.
Yeah. I bet an insurance company would be way more likely to keep those records. And again, if you can prove your identity, maybe your dad would have to do it since it was his policy, but maybe I can't see them not doing it.
Do you think that they would still have it?
Yeah. Like I said, I think they're way more likely to keep records than Verizon. I mean, yeah, for an accident, insurance, I could see that being more like 5 years instead of...
Well, this was 2013. It was over 5 years ago.
Yeah. I could see it. It's definitely longer than 90 days, though. I can promise you that. This show, though, is forever.
You sure? If it's forever, then why are we about to end it, like, literally right now?
No, I mean, it's going to live on the cloud forever.
You want to sign us off?
People are going to be listening to this.
Whoa, hang on. Before we go, what was that other mascot that you liked?
I couldn't get it. I was Carfox or something. It wasn't Carfox. The Jim from The Office speaking for Esurance. That crossed my mind, but
okay.
I don't know. Just
the commercial I do like these days is I think it's a T-Mobile. I want to give credit where credit's due. I'll trash Chase Freedom Unlimited and the United States Post Office for screwing me out of money. But when a company does something good, I'll give them props. And I think it's T-Mobile has the Gordon Ramsay commercial out right now where he's at a Costco store serving samples, and they're like, is this really the best use of your talents? And like, oh, it's like having oh no, dude.
You cracked it, dude.
I cracked it. We got to fix it.
Got to start over.
Oh, jeez. He's like, oh, that's like having the new iPhone without being on T-Mobile. And then the guy reaches for something, and Gordon Ramsay's like, use a cocktail stick. And the woman's like, she's like, use a cocktail stick. Like, it's just, I think it's really funny.
I've seen that commercial like at least 10 times, and I didn't remember any of those details. So they must know we must be in different demographics.
Tell them goodbye, dude.
All right, it's been real. Come back sometime. Thanks, eToro. You can find them at me and btc.com/trade. Peace. Not /trade peace. It's just /trade. Peace out.
You know, this would be like a bonus track. Like how I don't know. Just people just would keep listening. Why is this microphone so floppy?
Dude, just flopping around. I think I did that on one of your episodes. There was like a 2 or 3 minute like carry-on joke that I put after the closing music. I forget. I think I did that.
Are you going to do that with this one?
Maybe. No, not yet. Not unless it gets better.
No, but the whole humor in it would be is that like we didn't really say anything.
Didn't.
It's like meta, dude. It's layers.
Like right now, we're not saying anything?
Yeah, we're not saying anything of significance.
I'm not saying anything. Are you saying anything?
No, dude.
So, yeah, I guess that might be kind of funny. All right.
Why is this microphone so floppy? I want to know what
it's that. I think it's that. You got to tighten that, but I've tried. I've gotten out the pliers and everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is this part right here. Okay.
Is this staying in? Probably not. I still think it's got to get better.
It is better, dude. It's as good as it's going to be.
All right, it's Ryan's show. It's staying in.
Don't cut it yet, though. Let me get this microphone here. I am going to have to put in like a show note or something that like the timestamp of where it actually ends. Do you think that you can go back and fix where I
cracked it? No, it'll be fine. If it doesn't, yeah. Worst case is it sounds a little tinny. It's not going to like break anything.
Are you like out of character now, dude?
Huh?
You're kind of out of your like radio character?
Yeah, we're done.
This is tight now.
Wow, this looks so clean in here.
Why did you? We're still on the air. Come say hello.
Seriously?
Yeah.
We're just messing around at the end of it. Dan wants to cut it out. I want to leave it in. Come say hi.
I was just gonna say dinner's ready.
Guess
Homemade
it's
lasagna.
no time for some homemade lasagna.
Yep. I'm on my scooter, but yeah, I guess I could stay.
Oh.
Now we're
the cat.
murdering cats over here.
Come here, Lenny. Lenny, do you want to talk?
All right, I think it's better now. I think I can leave it in.
When's Casey coming?
Go talk. You can be Mr. Talkative.
Goodbye, everyone.
Don't beat cats.